Sir, how can business owners shift their personal expenses into business expenses legally to reduce tax?
See, it is always risky. Suppose you are purchasing a car in the name of business and you are using for business purpose, maybe going tours or local conveyance like that. That is allowable expenditure because it is used for business for earning the income. But if you have purchased the car in the name of for personal use and using for business and claiming as expenditure is always risky. The department knows that you are using when the department knows the nature of expenditure that it is allowed, it is used for personal use only. Then they will make the addition means that what the expenditure claimed will be treated as liable for tax and the tax will be levied. And sometimes if it is more, the penalty also will be levied. So it is better personal expenditure should not be claimed as expenditure legally, and even that is not advisable to claim the personal expenditure against the business income, since the business income deduction is available only for expenditure made to earn the income business.
So, what is a HUF secret, and how a simple common Telugu family can make it entity?
See, HUF is the Hindu Undivided Family. Only Hindus will be having separate succession act under the Hindu Succession Act. So the people who are the people will get the right over the property inherited from previous ancestors, predecessors. So that is called, and this person also the person is also liable to distribute the ancestor property shares to his successors. Means that is ancestor property transferred to next generation. So when this is a Hindu ancestor properties come to the family, not for himself, for his family, means his wife, children, and for next generations. So this is called Hindu Undivided Family asset. So whatever the Hindu Undivided family, where a person is having ancestral property inherited from predecessor to his occupation to earn his income, it's a separate entity. It is liable for exemption under the Income Tax Act. It is a separate taxable separate entity liable and eligible for exemption deductions whatever available to individuals.
So many people fear because of this income tax department. How can one be 100% make their yet minimum to pay into possible tax?
See, it is not better. It is better. We did not fear about income tax department since I am in the profession from last more than 42 years. My clients are not fearful about the income tax department. And now what is happening is income tax department acts based on the information available with the department, and don't try to misguide the department, don't try to misrepresent, don't try to make false claims, don't try to make false expenditure against the income. See, when you are genuine, you need not worry about that. From the last 6 years, from 2018 onwards, there is no physical necessity of appearing before the income tax department. Everything can be, the department also will send notice and you also send reply digitally. You need not go to the income tax department, and the department also will not come to you personally. So now there is no question of there is no need for fearing about the income tax department, because when you are genuine, until now I have not faced any cases which are unwantedly harassed by the income tax department. See, this is what happens when the purpose of the income tax department is to collect the right tax, right person, right tax, right time. If that is fulfilled, they need not go. They did not bother about that. The income tax department is concentrating mainly on tax evasion, false claims, and fake deductions. These are the income tax department is concentrating. Then anything arithmetical accuracy is now settled by CPC, that is Central Processing Center. So there is no need of worrying about the income tax department. You worry about the income earned, declare, pay taxes, file returns. That is sufficient.
Sir, can investing in wife's name and parents' name can really reduce the tax slabs? Is there any? What are the legal boundaries?
So there is no difference between investing in the name of himself, or wife, or spouse, or children's name, or parents. For income tax, as far as income tax is concerned, the source is important. Whether the source is met from the person, the income will be added, though it is not invested in his name. Suppose A person A has invested 10 lakhs rupees in the name of his wife, and money, the income earned thereon will be taxable in the hands of A only, but not in the name of his wife B, because the source is from A. So this is the reason the income tax is source based. Who has paid, who has made the investment, and he is liable to pay the tax. But it is not in the name of whom it is the asset is situated. So there is no difference if the source is tax paid. There is no difference if the investment is made in the name of his wife, parents, or children, or anything like that. That will be taxable in the hands of the person who has invested the money.
So for our Telugu NRIs, is there any best way to send their money to India without any restrictions from the both countries?
You are residing outside India, you are employing somewhere, you are carrying on business somewhere outside India, you have earned money, you have paid the taxes there, and you are forwarding money to the parents or children who are residing in India. There is no tax liability for money which has already been taxed in that country, and there is no tax liability in India, because there is only tax proceeds. Means after any proceeds received, after tax has been paid, due tax has been paid in that country, that is not taxable in India. So any person who sends his money from outside India, which is tax already been paid, will not be again taxed in India. There is no tax liability in India, because the money was already taxed, and there is any amount sent for the parents or for children. There is no tax liability in India.
So how does the DTAA work for the someone earning in dollars and investing in Hyderabad real estate?
DTAA is the Double Taxation Avoidance Agreement.
Okay.
See, whatever the investment in real estate is, as I told you in the earlier question, any amount which is already earned and tax paid outside India, and that is invested in India. So it will there is no tax liability in India only for investment. But there are some restrictions on investments by non-resident Indians or foreign citizens in India. They cannot invest in India in real estate, agriculture. Some restriction assets are there, that even if you are having money, you cannot invest in the real estate directly, unless it is permitted or it is a permitted category. So any money invested directly in real estate by foreign citizens is not allowed, but any money invested by Indian residents of people of Indian origin can invest in real estate through their parents or children. But they cannot. There are some restrictions which has to be fulfilled before investing in real estate in any part of India.
So can any NRI can maintain an NRO NRE account and still claim tax benefits in India? How does it possible?
See, I told you NRI amount transferred to India through NRE account, then it transfers to NRO account. NRE non-resident external account, NRO non-resident ordinary account. So money comes from foreign citizen through foreign currency to the NRE account. From there it will transfer to NRO account. That money will be used in India for the welfare of their children or parents or any relatives or something like that. So there is no tax liability, since our tax has already been paid by the person who is earning outside India, who has transferred the money after meeting the tax liability from outside country to India. So there is no separate additional tax liability in India for amount spent for the purpose of their relatives, children, parents, anything like that. Even through NRE account or NRO account, also there is no tax liability in India.